Hi, morning everyone. Welcome to the Knitting Expat Podcast. My name is Mina and welcome. This is episode 101? Is it 101? No, 102. Sorry, I need to change that in my notes. I forgot to update the episode number. 102. Today is the 19th of May, Friday 19th of May. And yeah, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. If you are new, thank you so much for checking me out, and hope you enjoy what you see. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back each week. Or every other week now. I really appreciate it. This whole bi-weekly or bi-monthly podcast schedule thing seems to be working out quite well for me. It's enough time for me to have done a decent amount of knitting to have something to show you, and also it's less stressful for me to try and fit it into my schedule with looking after a new baby. So yes, if you are new and you don't yet know, I do have a now 12-week-old baby. Wow, she seems so big now compared to when she was born, and I think we might have a Hugo coming to join us. And we do also have two cats. I live here in New York with my husband, our two cats and our baby girl, and Layla's currently sleeping, so here's hoping she'll sleep long enough for me to record this. Last time I tried this, she woke up right at the end, so she had a little cameo on the episode, and we'll see how it goes this time. So places you can find me online. Let me show you Hugo. He's just popped up here. Hello, say hello to everybody. Say hello. Okay. Places you can find me online. I'm on Instagram and Ravelry most often. Instagram, where I'm most active, as Knitting Expat on Instagram, and on Ravelry you can find me as Mina Phillip, and you can find show notes for this and all previous episodes at knittingexpat.wordpress.com, and you can also find the Ravelry group for this podcast at Knitting Expat Podcast on Ravelry. Everything is linked down below. There's also a got a phone call. Sorry, interrupted there by a phone call from my doctor. More about that at the end. But what I was saying, so anywhere that you can find me online is linked down below in the description box under the video on YouTube, and there's an episode thread where everything's linked there as well, and the show notes as well has everything linked. Yeah, there's a fluffy cat on my leg. I don't know how well you can see him on camera. He's just off. There we go, you can see him now. I know, it's been a while since Hugo's been on the podcast. He's been dearly missed. We do have another cat, Derek, who's off sleeping somewhere. He is much more camera shy than Hugo. He does not like being on camera and usually runs and hides whenever I'm recording. But yeah, Derek recently was quite ill. Thank you to everyone for all your well wishes and stuff. We finally figured out that he has IBS, so not much fun for him, unfortunately, but thankfully he's on the right medication now, and it's starting to get under control, so that's all good. And then sorry, that was a bit of a tangent. I wasn't planning on talking about that right now, but anyway, let's move on to the podcast. I have quite a few things to go over this week. We have finished objects, some works in progress, some acquisitions to go over, and some knit along and giveaway news, and then finally round it off with some questions and week in review. So let's just jump right in with finished objects. I have 3 finished objects to share with you this week. First up are the socks I was knitting out of Primrose Yarn Company for the July month New York Sock Club pattern. I had already knit up this pattern in another colourway by Kelsey, who's the dye behind Primrose Yarn Company, but we sort of decided that it wasn't necessarily the right colourway for the design, so I picked out a different colourway of hers at her trunk show that she had in New York recently, and I knit them up. So last time I showed them to you as a work in progress, and here they are finished. Obviously I'm not showing you the pattern side, just to keep it a nice sort of surprise for everybody. And it's the springy colourway on her Cosmic Helix base, which is 100% superwash merino, but it is a really nice tight ply that I really think will hold up well for socks. I have no issues using 100% merino for my socks. I really don't think it's that much. I mean, I don't wear through my socks that much to know, and I've knit Perry socks that are 100% merino and they've held up fine. If you really wanted to, you could always do contrast heel and toe in a yarn that has nylon in it. But yeah, so this is the springy colourway. It's nice, bright, and very sort of spring summer appropriate, and this is going to be the July month sock. There are two, I've just folded this one in a way so I can show it to you. The second finished object that I have to show you are my May month socks for the New York Sock Club. These are the Union Square socks, which are this month's pattern. This month's pattern. And yeah, I knit this out of Cascade Yarns, Cascade Heritage Print, I believe it is, in the 808 cotton colorway, I believe is what it is. Yeah, 08 cotton. And I knit these on 2.25mm higher sharps. Did my new favorite garter stitch German short row heel with the modified heel flap. This is going to be a gift pair. I didn't knit them as long as I knit them for myself, just because I'm never entirely sure how long people liked the legs of their socks to be, so I typically do the same length as the foot. And I forgot to mention that these socks, I actually knit these on 2.5mm needles with 56 stitches, which works for me, just because it is a plumper fingering weight yarn. And this is 64 stitches on 2.25mm needles. I get a lot of questions about where I get these metal sock blockers from. I believe I got them from the Line Brand studio in New York on a visit a couple of years ago. So I don't know where you can get them online necessarily, but I can't even remember the name of them, but that's where I got them from. And last finished object I have to show you is another version of the baby dress that I've designed. This is knit out of the solid green is Once Upon a Corgi on her Stellina base. It's her ginger base, I believe. It's called Stellina, and it's in the Lily Potter colorway. I don't know if you can see the sparkle on camera or not, but that's that. And the skirt, the contrast color for the skirt, is a Plymouth Yarn Company Happy Feet in the Purple Iris colorway, which is a really soft 90% merino, 10% nylon, and it's quite a plump fingering weight. It's only got 374 yards per 100 grams, so it's sort of a very heavy fingering weight. And I actually really like how the speckles were very dense at one end of the start of the skein and the end of the skein, and the middle is a lot less speckled, so it looks a bit like a speckle gradient, starting out quite dense, then lighter, and then getting denser again at the end. And then we also have the contrast border and then the picot on the edge of the sleeves and the bottom of the hem. And the picot is obviously optional. You don't have to do a picot if you don't want to. I know some people really detest doing picot bind-offs, but I don't mind it. And then I got the buttons on the back for the neckband. And this actually, the size of this one is a 1 to 2 year old, so 12 to 24 month size. Obviously way too big for Layla right now, but I wanted to test a couple of different sizes of the pattern just to sort of see how they work in different sort of size ranges. A few people commented about on the baby sizes if having the buttons on the back would be uncomfortable for the child. The one that I've made for Layla so far doesn't seem to bother her with the buttons on the back, but I use flat buttons, as in they don't have a shank on them, so I imagine like shanked buttons might be a bit more uncomfortable, but these are quite flat, so there's no issue with that. But having said that, there's also no reason why the back couldn't be the front, because it is symmetrical. The front isn't lower than the back. With this design, it's the same on the front and back, except one side has the buttons on it, so you could quite easily have this be the front if that's what you prefer, or have this as the front if you think the buttons would bother your child if they're on the back. But that's that. This was knit on 3.5mm US size 4s. And the pattern has been tech edited. I need to make some changes, and once I've made those changes, then I will be calling out for testers. Probably sometime over this weekend I will post a post on Instagram asking for testers, so if you're interested, keep an eye out for that. And yeah, I'll probably be looking for testers for a variety of sizes, or almost all the sizes. I have it sized from 0 to 5 years old, so there's a vast range of sizes for this dress. I think it's quite a versatile pattern. It's a very easy pattern to knit. There is no going back to pick up stitches for the sleeves or anything. It's top down, it's simple to do in that way. So yeah, that's that. Right, that's it for finished objects, and we will move on now to works in progress. I have a few things to show you. One, first off, is a project that has not been worked on since last year, and that is my Pinwheel scrap blanket. I've only done one block this week, but Perry had his graduation this week on Wednesday, and I wanted something simple to knit because I was going to have Layla with me as well, and I just wanted something to knit while she naps at the ceremony. So this is what I worked on, and Hugo's now going to try and catch the end. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, and most of these, actually all of these, are yarns from the January sockathon where I knit socks for a whole month like a crazy lady. Hey. And yeah, I still have a few of the leftovers to knit into another block, but this is most of the rest that's left. I think there's only 3 others left for the next block. But yeah, so I got a block done, which is great. I still need to weave in ends, obviously, but I'll do that at some point soon. I'd really like to get another row done. I think I currently have 5x5 rows of my in the blanket. I think 6x5 would be a good size, and then I might end it at that point for now and see how things go. But so I have 4 more blocks to do before I seam it all together and see how big it is and see if I want to finish that as it is, leave it as like a small lap size for the sofa, or use it as like a blanket for Layla. We'll see, I haven't fully decided. So that's that. Right, so I think that's that one. The next one I'll have to show you is another version of the baby dress. This one I showed you last time as a finished object. It was the smaller size, but I didn't like the way the skirt portion turned out. I was trying something different with it, and when I tried it on Layla, I didn't really like how it looked. So I went back and I ripped out the skirt portion. So I ripped it all the way back to the end of the garter stitch and started re-knitting it, and pretty much started re-knitting it yesterday. And this is how far I've got. I don't know how well you can see, but the yarn's all kinky from where it had been knit before. But I've just gotten to the end of that previous yarn, and I've just joined the, I guess, unknit yarn again from the ball to finish it off, because yeah, this way is going to use more yarn. And the yarn I'm using is Shirley Cat Designs in the Nightwood colourway. It's 100% superwash merino, and 490 yards in 100 grams. So yeah, because I'd finished this before and blocked it, this already has the buttons on it. But and it used such a small amount of yarn originally. Like I said, I wasn't really happy with how the skirt turned out when I tried it on her, so I'm now knitting it slightly differently. I will try it on her again, see how it is, but this is the 0 to 3 month size. Layla very much is no longer a 3-month size baby. She is definitely pretty much a 4-month size baby now. She's outgrowing most of her 0 to 3 month clothes. Yeah, so I've had to do another clear out of her wardrobe, which was a bit sad, but anyway, tangent. I will still try this on her once it's finished. It is quite a versatile dress, because once it stops being a dress, your child could probably still get away with wearing it as a top with like leggings or something as a tunic. But yeah, so I'm excited to get this finished. Hopefully I'll get this done today, and I'll be able to reblock the skirt portion at least and get that ready to take some photos. I'm hoping to get, yeah, like I said, this one finished today and blocked, so that over the weekend I could take photos of the 3 versions that I've knit for the pattern, and also to be able to send out to testers to get there so they know what it should look like. And then next up, the next 2 patterns are both Joji patterns, Joji Locatelli. And first up, in this lovely project bag by Cindy of Mon Sheep Shop, she so the pattern I'm knitting is the Sample cardigan by Joji Locatelli. Joji kindly gifted me this design. She knew I wanted to knit it, and this is what it looks like. It's in black and white, but it's a really lovely all-over textured cardigan with this like sort of really like delicate cable detail down the front of the cardigan. Like, someone actually asked me if I was going to knit this in the round and steek it, but actually with the way the texture stitch works, it actually is the same instructions whether you knit it flat or in the round. So there's no advantage to knitting it in the round and steeking it later. The only reason I would do that is if there was an advantage of like having less purling to do, but like I said, the instructions for this are the same. This texture section is the same whether you knit it flat or in the round, so there is no advantage, there is no less purling by doing it in the round. This is how far I've gotten so far. There we go. Well, it's a bit bright, but you see the details a bit better. So this is how it's looking so far. Don't know how well you can see that. So that's the cable detail running down the front there, and it's the texture detail. It's quite a, well, it's not an overly dark yarn, but it's a very deep green, and it's the Mossman colorway by Verdant Griffin on their little traveler base, which is their light fingering weight. It's 560 yards in 100 grams, so it's quite a thin fingering weight. But and I didn't get gauge. The gauge in the pattern quilt is like 20.5 stitches per inch, per 4 inches, sorry, and I was getting 23 stitches. But I did the maths and it works out if I knit the extra large size, I should get the right size for me with the right amount of ease. And so far I haven't been alternating skeins yet because I was working on the yoke and there was a lot of short row shaping in the yoke section, which makes it awkward for alternating skeins. So I was waiting until after I separated for the sleeves, which I now have done. I'm just like a few rows past having separated for the sleeves, and I think I'm probably going to start alternating skeins now, because I don't know if you can tell, but there's a very definite sort of like a stripy effect going on with the lighter and darker sections of the yarn. I don't mind that, I really don't, but my concern is whether or not that will be consistent between the skeins. So I think I might start alternating skeins, at least for a little bit. I'll probably alternate skeins for a couple of inches and just see if there's a difference, if you can see a difference between where I have and haven't alternated skeins. And if it's not that noticeably different, then I probably won't continue alternating skeins. I'll just alternate for the last sort of 20 grams of the skein to sort of blend it into the next one before I change to the new ball. So we'll see how that goes. I probably won't alternate skeins on the sleeves, to be honest, because that's just too much faff on a small circumference. But that's how far I've gotten so far. I haven't worked on this in a while, but I am really enjoying it. It's really nice to come back to knitting a garment again for myself. I haven't knit something for myself in a while, like a garment for myself in a while. Since my birthday last year, actually, was the last garment I knit. And it's the first time I've actually knit a garment that has an all over texture to it. I don't think I've ever done that before. So that's new for me as well. It is slow. It's much slower knitting a cardigan that has texture all over it, but it is a really fun knit and it does keep my interest. And the repeats are quite short, so it's actually really fun to feel like you've gotten some stuff. You know, I can quite easily get 1 or 2 repeats done in an evening, which actually isn't all that much knitting, but it feels like I've accomplished something, which is quite nice. And this is what the yarn looks like in the cake. I really love it. It's a lovely bright green, and yeah, like I said, it's not too difficult and it's really fun to work on, and it's gonna be a nice lightweight cardigan, because it is quite a loose gauge for the yarn that I'm using. It's gonna be nice for like a spring summer cardigan when the weather's quite warm and you just want a light layer to cover up. Let's see, what else have we got? Sorry. Not sure what happened there. Fix that later. Next up in my awesome granny project bag, giant project bag, I have another Joji pattern, and this is Joji Locatelli's mystery knit along that she's running at the moment. It's a starting point mystery knit along. I've just completed clue 1. Clue 2 came out last night. I haven't had a chance to start that yet, so I'm going to show you I'll show you the yarns I'm using first, and then when I'm going to show the actual design, the work, I'll let you know. That way, if you don't want to see spoilers or anything, then you can look away for a while until that's done. So the yarns that I'm using, I'll get that out without showing you, and I'll try and show you in the number order. So number 1 is this lovely light grey by John Arbon Textiles. It's from their Knit by Numbers range, and this one is number, which number is this one? Number 6. So one's number 6. Then colour number 2 is this beautiful purple by Madeleine Tosh. This is Tosh Merino Light in the 79th Street Sunset colourway, and this is one of the exclusive colourways for Knitty City in New York. Then my third colourway is another skein by Madeleine Tosh. And this is on the Twist Light base, which is their merino nylon base, and this is in the Found Pottery colourway, so this is the speckle. Fourth colourway is another Madeleine Tosh yarn. This is another Tosh Merino Light, and this is in jade. You can tell I really like this colour green. And this is actually the very first skein of Madeleine Tosh I ever bought. So that's a special yarn. And my fifth colour is this dark charcoal from John Arbon Textiles, and also from their Knit by Numbers range, and I believe this one is number 2. If it will focus, there we go. So that's my palette, unsurprisingly, I think, because it's very much my in my comfort zone of colours. I wanted it to be in my comfort zone because I want this to be something that I'm going to wear a lot and with a lot of my outfits and clothes in general, and these sort of colours just seem to be what I gravitate towards in my wardrobe, so most things it will match with most things, hopefully. So those are my colours. Now I'm going to show you clue 1. So if you don't want to see what this looks like, then please look away. This is your warning. And I will let you know when you can look back. I won't really describe anything, I'll just show it. So this is what clue 1 looks like, all finished. Different sections. And this bit here, which I don't know if you can see very clearly at the moment. Yeah, you can see how that's looking there. And I'm really interested to see how this looks once you start with clue 2 as well being added on. And the pattern has you do it twice. So I have 2 pieces here, and I don't know if you can see or not, you might not be able to tell, but I've already woven in all my ends. I haven't trimmed them though, I won't do that until after I've blocked it at the end, but I'm weaving them in as I go along, because as you can see from all the colour changes, it's going to be a bit, it's going to be a lot of ends to weave in at the end if I don't do it as I go. And Hugo's going crazy trying to catch them all. Hey buddy? Okay, no. Right, good luck, go. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting clue 2 started and done over the weekend, hopefully. And yeah, that's that. I'm trying to keep up with the knit along, and so to do that, what I've decided to do is to prioritise the knit along knitting. So every week when the clue comes out, that'll be the project that I knit on until it's done, and then I'll work on other things after that. That way I'm hoping I'll be able to keep up with the knit along every week. Okay, so moving on to the next bit. Oh, sorry, so the only other work in progress I have is my scrappy granny crochet granny blanket, but I haven't actually done any work on that this week, so I'm not going to show it to you. It's still the same as it was last time. So for acquisitions this week, I have a couple of things to show you, some lovely things that came in the mail. First of all, a lovely viewer from Poland sent some really sweet things for Layla and for me, and one of the things she sent were these little crocheted octopuses, I think, octopi. They're so adorable, and I've heard of these before being knit for babies, like premature babies especially, because the tentacle, the legs, the twisty bits on the legs, for premature babies especially, feels a bit like the umbilical cord when they're inside, and so for that it gives them comfort to sort of like grip onto it and to hold it while they're in incubators and stuff. So that was really sweet, and I'm sure Layla's gonna love it. They're gonna go sit on her toy shelf with all the other cuddly toys and lovely things that people have sent her, and I'm sure she will love these and play with them. She's starting to figure out her hands now, so these are going to be great for her to play with and to slightly learn about taking hold of stuff. And I just love the details on the face. How cute are those little faces? Anyway, so thank you so much. I don't know if she wants me to mention her name or not, so I won't, but thank you, you know who you are. I really appreciate it, and the other things that you sent are all very much appreciated. Hugo's just gone away and left me with a lap full of cat hair. So anyway, the other acquisitions are, I have another knit crate box which I will be doing a review video of after this is finished, so hopefully that will be up for you soon. That will probably be up before the podcast is up, so you'll see that as well if you are interested in seeing what's in it. Then I also got a lovely package from the lovely ladies at from the podcast. Sorry, let me start again. I got another lovely package from the lovely Christy and Tristan, who are the hosts of the Girls from the Yarn Cafe podcast. And Christy has the Yarn Cafe Etsy shop where she dyes and sells yarn, and Tristan has the Dragon Horde Yarn Etsy shop as well, where she also dyes and sells yarn. So they very generously sent some yarn my way, some for me to keep and some to use for a giveaway. I'm just going to take everything out of the bag. I will say one thing though at first. When I got home and I got the package, I was with Layla and I took everything out of the bags and I arranged them around Layla to take a photo, and then I had to deal with Layla and feed her, put her down to bed and all that sort of stuff, so I didn't actually get back to putting things away until after all that. Thankfully the boys are not interested in yarn at all, so nothing got damaged, but I kind of forgot which were the ones that they'd allocated for giveaway yarns, actually no, Tristan's ones I knew which one was which I'll explain why in a minute, but the ones that Christy sent, I kind of forgot which one she'd allocated for the giveaway, so I hope she won't mind if I've got them mixed up. But there is a giveaway skein from both. So first up, the yarns that Tristan sent, she sent 2 skeins of her sport weight base, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 274 yards in 100 grams in the Madame Puddifoot's tea shop, which I believe is a Harry Potter reference. I'm pretty sure it is. So there's 2 skeins of that which she sent for me. And this is why I knew these 2 were the ones that she sent for me, because they were the same colourway. And the one that she sent for a giveaway is on her fairy base, which is her sparkle sock, 70% superwash merino and 25%. This may be 25% nylon and 5% stellina. 264 yards in 100 grams. I think that is the wrong. I think it might be 464 yards. And this is the color. The colorway is I See Light. I See the Light. So it's really lovely. Okay, sorry, I got cut off there because don't know what happened. The camera went a bit funny. So what I was saying was Tristan sent this lovely skein for a giveaway, which I'll be using soon. And then Christy also sent me some really lovely yarns. So these 2. So this one is on her fluffy sock, which is her fingering weight yarn, 437 yards in 100 grams, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and this is in the Selkie colorway. This is the fluffy sock. I don't know if I said that or not. Yarn Cafe Creations is her Etsy shop. I will have both Etsy shops linked in the show notes for you. Really lovely purples and teals and sort of like golden oranges, rusty oranges. Really love that. And also this one, which is on her Fluffy Sport, and it's in the Mermaid Party colorway. Lovely sort of like hot pink and purple, and again teals and blues and bits of oranges and yellows in there as well, which is really fun. And this is, as I said, a Fluffy Sport base, which is 75-25 merino nylon, 100 grams, sport weight, 274 yards. That one. And the giveaway skein is on her full-bodied sock, which is again 100 grams fingering weight yarn, 75-25 superwash merino nylon, 437 yards in 400 meters, and this is in the Kelpie colorway. So this will also be for a giveaway. Okay, sorry about all the rustling if that bothers you. Alright, and that's it for acquisitions this week, or things that came in the mail. We have some Knit Along and giveaway news. Thank you to everyone who got in touch with me after the last episode about the prices. There is still one person who needs to get in touch with me about the prize from Fully Spun. This, like the 2 matching skeins, 2 skein set from Fully Spun, and that was number 155, Leah Line, who had entered. And if I don't hear from you by the next time I podcast, then I will redraw a winner with the next prize. I'll redraw the winners, the winner for that. So at the end of May, I'm going to draw prizes for the Knitting Expat Designs year-long Knit Along, and I will draw a new winner for this at that point if it hasn't been claimed by the winner I've currently drawn. Words are failing me. I did not have a good night with Layla last night, so I am a little bit discombobulated right now. And the other prizes that I've picked out for the end of May's drawing for the Knitting Expat Designs year-long Knit Along are this sock set from O'Loops. This is their Stitch Surface set in the Sparkler colourway. Sparkler's colourway, which I thought would be really fun, especially with, I guess, 4th of July coming up as well. Seems like an appropriately themed yarn. And so yes, that's going to be one prize. Another prize is going to be this lovely set. It's a lovely project bag and yarn. The yarn is by Wolf & Schäfer, the lovely Magdalena of Wolf & Schäfer. She also has the Wolf & Schäfer podcast. And and this is on her, what is it? Doesn't have a base name, but it's the colorway is Dew. Sorry, it's on her Dew base. Sorry, and the colorway is Silver Towers, and the Dew base is a super soft 70% baby alpaca, 30% mulberry silk, and this is just the most ridiculously soft yarn that you'll ever feel. It is so soft. It has a beautiful drape, as you can see from how floppy the skein is, and there's this beautiful little fuzzy halo to it, which would be beautiful to wear next to the skin. It's a really lovely neutral that with hints of purple to it. It's definitely got like a purpley tone to the grey, which is beautiful. I'm kind of a bit sad I have to give this one away, but I do. So that's that set, that prize. And the third prize is the Emmeline May shawl by Boston Jen, who very generously gifted me a copy and a copy for you guys. So I'm going to be using that for that giveaway. I think so. That's that for the Knitting Expat Designs prizes. The Sock Pattern Club for the end of May. We currently have the Union Square socks that are that's the Knit Along. That's the pattern for this month. Jeez, sorry about that. So the prizes words are not coming to me today, and Layla's flapping, so hopefully she will just sleep. But yes, so the prizes that I've picked out for this month, there we go, now we're going again. I have this lovely project bag and this set of yarn. So these are 250-gram skeins of Lamia woolly socks. There's no colourway names and yarns that were donated to the podcast, but it's a really lovely, and this I'm pretty sure is a self-striping. It's like oranges and greys and creams with this project bag for one prize. Then another prize is going to be a skein of yarn from Lissa Bean Loves Yarn, and this is on her sparkle base in the Mooney colourway. This will be great for some socks, and this will be paired with a tote bag from I Knit London. And the third one is going to be this lovely skein from Sinister Yarns. This is on her cashmere base, so it's an MCN, merino cashmere nylon, and this one I believe will do a sort of micro stripe of this dark, really dark sort of purple at one end, and this sort of like lighter pink to beige colour at the end, this end. And this is in the Lalo Chesa, I believe that's how you say it. I might be completely wrong. Let's see if it will focus on the word. That's the colourway name. And this will be paired with a tote bag from Loop London as a prize. Layla does not seem to want to be sleeping, but we will see. She's not crying, so we're good for now. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the Q&A and see what questions we have in the group for that. Kayla2 on Ravelry asked, just wondering if you could do a review of some of the things you've knit for your baby, like maybe you don't really see a point to them at this young age yet, or you would make it bigger or smaller in certain places. It's just maybe for reference for people making it that maybe don't have a baby. There is a size gauge, if this makes any sense. Okay, so basically you're asking what sort of things, how I feel about some of the things I've knit for Layla and whether they've been useful or not. So the things I will say that were useful for her were cardigans. I found cardigans were much better for Layla than jumpers or sweaters, because they're easier to get on and off, for one thing, and also she's actually quite a warm baby, like she runs quite warm, so having a cardigan was easier because I could leave it open if she was a bit hot, or I could button it up if it was a bit cold out. I think she's starting to cry now, so I don't know if we can get her in a minute, but so yeah, so cardigans were best for her versus sweaters. The other thing as well is Layla was born towards the end of winter, so there wasn't really that much cold weather left after she was born, so some of the things that I knit in the smaller sizes, she didn't really get much opportunity to wear that often. The baby vertebrae was actually one of the better ones, one of the better things, because it was kept the front open but still kept her arms and back warm, so that was quite handy to have as well for when we were going out. Didn't have to faff around with buttons or anything. I knit her a pair of baby leggings, which I thought was so adorable, and I used them for photos, but again, not the most practical because she's quite a warm baby and she was born at the end of winter. If I had a winter baby or a baby born like in, sorry about the sirens, a baby born like in early autumn like I was, then all those things probably would have been great because she would have been able to wear them over the coldest months of the year. But to be honest, she didn't really get to wear them much. The only cold time was really for the month of March, and then towards the end of March things started warming up and we haven't had that many cold days since. That, and our apartment is quite warm, so she can't even wear them at home. So yeah, and she's quite temperature sensitive, so if we're going out and outside's quite cold, then I can layer her up, but as soon as I go inside I have to take layers off her because she gets quite uncomfortable very quickly. Socks, baby socks, I found to be completely useless for her. Again, because of the time of year that she was born. Most of her outfits up until now, up until 3 months age, especially like the sleep suits and stuff, all have like feet on them, so she doesn't need socks for those. And then when she was wearing things that may have needed socks, she's usually wrapped up enough that she didn't need socks to keep her feet warm, or she was going to be under a blanket, so she didn't need socks. So yeah, I found baby socks to be a little bit unnecessary, but again, cute for photos. All of these things that I'm saying, like, it's not to say that you shouldn't knit them for your babies or for other people's babies. It's just, I think maybe being a bit more wary of the time of year that they're being born. And I always knew this. I always knew this going in, that Layla was going to be born towards the end of February. So there was never going to be much winter left for her to wear warm things. So I tried not to knit too many things in small sizes. I've knit mostly things for her in the larger sizes. I tried to knit things for her 6 months and up, because she'll be 6 months at the end of August, so heading into the winter and colder time. So she still has a stockpile of hand knits that she hasn't even worn yet because they're too big for her. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, I have a couple more questions to answer, but I'm going to go grab Layla and I'll be back with her. Okay, so she's still a little bit sleepy. Say hi. Yeah. Interrupting mummy's podcasting. She really did not sleep that long at all. 40 minutes, 42 minutes or something. Hey. That's not that good. A little bit. Hey. She's obsessed with sitting up. Right, so the next set of questions I have is from Joanne 1989, and she says, I have 3 questions for you. 1, have you ever used 9-inch circulars for socks? If so, what do you think of them? I've only used them insofar as I've knit a couple of stitches. Ooh, thank you for that. Oh, hello. been hiding those, have you? That's not very polite, but I think everyone will find that funny. So yeah, she's quite a burper. So yeah, 9-inch circulars, I'm not a fan of them. I've knit a few stitches on a friend's sock with them before, but never knit a pair of socks myself with them. I considered trying them once, but I don't see them as being for me. I don't think I'll enjoy it very much. I'm very happy with my magic looping. She says, and then the second question is, I've only knit one pair of socks but can't wear them much because they make the soles of my feet sore. Do you think it is the yarn I use, opal, or she says she used opal, or on my feet just not made for hand knit socks? Well, it could be the yarn. Opal is definitely on the more sturdy side, so it's not as soft as some of the other yarns. You could use a yarn, sock yarn that has merino in it rather than just wool. Merino is generally softer. You could try that, or you could also try what's called a princess sole, where you knit the sole of the foot in reverse stockinette, so you're purling so the knit stitches are on the inside, and that's what touches the sole of your feet. Some people might find that to be easier on their foot. And 3, she says, my favourite things to knit are cardigans and jumpers. Can you recommend any YouTubers who also knit these? Okay, the 2 that come to mind immediately are Katie from the Inside Number 23 podcast. She knits a lot of garments. And Elise from the My 2 Tips podcast. She also knits a lot of garments and has been like powering through them lately. So if you're interested in those, in that, you can check them out. Also, Eva of the Charm of It, she also knits a lot of garments, but she also goes down the route of knitting a lot of like customized garments, where either she designs them herself for herself, or like she makes modifications to patterns to suit what she's looking for. And she goes into a lot of detail on her podcast about the modifications she's made, how she's adapted things, or how she's done certain things. So if you're into the techniques and the nitty-gritty of knitting, then her podcast is a great one to check out as well for that. And I think I'm going to leave it there for this week. I have a couple more questions in there which I'll just address next week. If you have any questions for me, by all means, feel free to post them in. We have a questions and suggestions thread in the group, so by all means post them there. And yeah, okay. And yeah, I will what was it? Move on. Long day, long day. It's not even midday yet and it feels like a long day. She's been very difficult last night. But yeah, we can review. So as I said, Layla is now 12 weeks old. She was 12 weeks old on Wednesday. She is obsessed with sitting up. She doesn't like it so much when I have her lying down. She wants to be sat up all the time, seeing what's going on in the world. Hey? She's still a little bit groggy from being asleep. Her head's still a little bit wobbly as well, but she's getting there. She's got great head control now. And she's just recently discovered her hands this week as well, which has resulted in her trying to stuff her fist in her mouth all the time, which is fine, except at night when she's trying to stuff her hand in her mouth and can't get it in far enough and then wakes up screaming, which is what happened last night. Thank you very much. Little Miss kept waking up every 2 hours and screaming and just, yeah, basically. She's had a couple of really bad fussy days this week, followed by a couple of really great days. So I guess she's just going through a period of ups and downs. A few people have recommended the Wonder Weeks book, which we do have, and so that's been pretty helpful. I generally try to stay as flexible as I can with her. I know it's not always going to be easy to get her to stick to a certain schedule. I mean, she's not a robot, she's a baby at the end of the day. You know, she's going to have good days and bad days like most of us do. And that's okay. We'll just go with the flow as best as possible. I feel a lot more confident now in knowing sort of like when she's tired, when she's hungry and things like that, and being able to work around it. Yeah. We do try and get out of the house a few times a week. I've been trying to get out about 2 to 3 days each week when I'm during the week while I'm home with her. Just get out, see friends, or just go for a walk with her. But I have also been having issues with that in the sense that I been having a lot of knee and ankle pain since having Layla, which I've gone to see a doctor about, and that's what the phone call was earlier. The doctor just thinks it's to do with the hormones after pregnancy, and my body's still sort of getting rid of all that and recovering and all of this. He thinks that the pain from that is just to do with post-pregnancy stuff. So hopefully he thinks it will just go away and get better in a few weeks. So that's what the phone call was about. He's just letting me know the blood test came back all normal, but there wasn't anything else wrong. There was no other underlying condition. So we'll see. I've also had my back checked out finally. One of the things that I was waiting to do until after I'd had Layla was getting my back checked. I did have that done actually a few weeks ago now, and it turns out I have something called spondylolysis. Spondylolysis is what it's called. I've got it written down here. And I also have bouts of spondylolisthesis. So spondylolysis, there we go, is to do with the vertebrae in your lower spine. I don't know if you know what it looks like, but basically you've got the round disc part, and then at the end of it sort of butterflies off. The bones at the end on the side of the vertebrae butterflies off. It's that bit that butterflies off which in spondylolysis is not connected to the disc, and usually basically it's a fracture, and usually how that happens is through injury. In some cases it's a lot rarer for this to be the case, but in some cases it's just it's chronic, it's from birth, and my doctor suspects that I've had it since I was born. So essentially I have a broken back, which actually isn't all that surprising considering all the back problems I've had over the years, and explains a lot of things as well. So that's spondylolysis. It's something I've had all my life apparently. I was born with it, and I'm surprised that it's taken this long for a doctor to figure that out, is what I have. Yeah, so what it means is the bit that butterflies off the back of the vertebrae is not connected to the disc part, so there's no stability in my lower spine at all, which then leads to spondylolisthesis, which is where the spinal column sort of shifts forward, which creates a lot of low back pain. And that is what happened when I was pregnant with Layla. Obviously with the weight being on the front, it just pulled everything forward, and that's why I had so much back pain. And every time I have bouts of really bad back pain is because I'm having an episode, I guess, of spondylolisthesis. That comes and goes, that's not always there. So yeah, so that's fun. Again, the doctor for now has given me a back brace to wear whenever I'm walking long distances and stuff, and that has helped massively. I'm going to go back in a couple of weeks to see him again, have another checkup, and he wanted me to wait until I was 4 months postpartum to start physio, which is the initial way of trying to treat it. Physiotherapy, building up your core muscles to provide the support that your spine is lacking, essentially. So that's what we're going to try first. And if that doesn't work, and you know, our last resort would be surgery, which I really would like to avoid if possible. And it should be avoidable. We should manage to be able to avoid it. In most cases, he says that exercise and physio is able to manage the condition. So we will see. It has been an interesting rounds of going to see doctors lately. What else have we got here? So what else has been going on recently? Oh, this last week, one of Perry's classmates from his MBA, her and her husband came to stay with us for a few days. Perry had his graduation on Wednesday. He'd actually already had his business school graduation back in February. That was on the day after I left hospital with Layla, so obviously we weren't able to go then. But this graduation was school-wide for the whole of Columbia University. And so we went to that, and it was really great that Layla and I got to go as well to this one. Hey, you wanna play with my project bags? Alright, pop it down here and entertain yourself with these. Okay. And so that was great. It was so hot though. It was so hot that day. It was 33 degrees centigrade, something like 91 degrees Fahrenheit. It was ridiculously hot. And so thankfully when we got there, we found that there was some indoor seating available. So Layla and I went inside and sat in lovely air conditioning and close to the toilets, and there were even snacks at the back of the room, rather than sitting outside under direct sun for over 3 hours. It just would have been completely unbearable for her and for me. Hey Nugget. And yeah, so that ended up working out pretty well. Layla fell asleep about 2 minutes before the ceremony started, and she woke up about 20 minutes from the end, so she slept through the whole thing, which is why I got some knitting done, which was great. And I was kind of surprised because it was so loud there that I was surprised she slept for as long as she did. But yeah, oh, and last little, well, not last little bit of news, but actually, yeah, last little bit of news that I have written down here anyway is that my brother got his visa for the US, which is great. He picked up his passport a couple of days ago, I think, so he's got his visa now. And I think the plan is for him to come out next week. He's going to come out next week for the long weekend. It's a long weekend here, the Memorial Day weekend, and it's a long weekend in the UK as well. So he's going to take an extra couple of days off and come out and see Layla for the first time, which would be great. I've been wanting him to come out as soon as possible to see her, you know, while she's still a baby, and not like a lot bigger. We are planning on going back home to the UK for Christmas, and by then she'll be much bigger. So and kind of, he's been obsessed with her ever since he found out we were pregnant, so I thought it'd be, you know, he's really looking forward to seeing her as well. So I think that pretty much sums up this week's episode. Hey? Hey? I think that's about it. We're about done now. I was planning on recording the knit crate video, but that may have to wait now until the next time she goes down for a nap, whenever that will be. Because I don't think I can do that whilst also holding her. Hey? She just wants to play with my punching bags. That's okay. Alright, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey Layla, do you want to wave goodbye? Bye bye. Take care, till next time.